right, the webinar is being recorded, so we are officially started here. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us for this webinar. Very excited to have Mohammed from Bird to join us and talk a bit about his experience in Revizto. My name is Dan McKinnon, I'm the National Manager for Revizto for Canada. With me is Laura Sharp, who is our Implementation Manager for Canada as well. And of course, as I mentioned, Mohammed is our guest of honor and primary speaker in this webinar today. So the object today is to talk a little bit about where Mohammed has taken Revizto in terms of bringing it out to his field team. Anybody who's been exposed to Revizto before understands that we are an integrated collaboration platform, usually used between architects and construction companies for sharing 2D, 3D, and the model data out to members of the team with a real-time issue tracker. So most of the time, Revizto is being utilized for the purpose of coordinating issues between the project teams. But what we've seen with a lot of our more progressive general contractors is that they, as well as our mechanical firms, is they're using Revizto a lot for being able to do that real-time communication that has the full context of issues as they relate to the issues that are found in the field. So this will be the primary need of what we're going to talk about here today. So as I mentioned, Mohammed is from Bird. He's based out of Halifax. He's been working with Revizto since I started a project in Dubai in 2018 with it, and has been always communicating with elements of the field through the course of that project. I'll let him talk about that in more detail. He is managing several high-profile projects in Eastern Canada from his base in Halifax. And today we're going to be talking primarily about the Ottawa LRT and how, through the course of COVID and the distance that was created by his remote team, he was able to coordinate between the field and keep everybody plugged in through the course of that process. One of the advantages Bird had is they had put a lot of processes in place that they were able to roll out and continue to roll out as COVID was going on. So I don't think missed much of a beat in terms of keeping the team communicating. So with that being said, what I'll do is I'm going to turn things over to Mohammed, and it's your show, sir. If there's any questions along the way, people that are attending, please feel free to write it in the chat. Both Laura and I will be paying attention to that along the way. If there's a question in context of what Mohammed is speaking about, we'll ask it. If it's a technical question, we may answer right in the chat. So with that said, Mohammed, it's all on you, sir.
Yeah, thanks, Dan, for having me today. And it's really exciting. As you mentioned, I have been using Revizto since a long time now. And the way I seen Revizto growing, it's really exciting, especially by this release, version 5. It really changed how you work inside Revizto itself and how the model is handled inside Revizto. So as you mentioned, this webinar or this presentation specifically is to how extend Revizto, the use of Revizto on site. So a lot of people are using Revizto in coordination with the design teams, but how we elevated that and how we are using Revizto now as the main method or the main tool for coordination. It's basically another project management tool, which is integrated with our systems, which I will explore that now. Before starting, I just explore a little bit about and explain about Bird itself, if any of the audiences don't know about Bird. So I just show how Bird. So Bird, we joined forces with Stuart Olson in September 2020, and this given us the opportunity now to make more offerings and strengthen our teams heavily. And this is a snapshot of where are our offices, and it's all over Canada. And now we have a very huge team and plus 100 years of experience as experience in construction, which is a huge value. And as you can see, we have several things to do: industrial, infrastructural, buildings, and commercial systems as well. I just make it very quick. So the client services, what we offer is pre-construction and early contractor involvement, sustainable design and construction, Stack Modular, which is the modular, and we see that as a future of construction. And Mass Timber, which we have really in-house experts in Mass Timber. Center for Building Performance. It's basically dashboards for facility management. So as you can see, it's from the start to even to the operation phase of the project itself. So a bit about me. This is my LinkedIn profile. So if you want to be connected with me, just scan the QR code and we will get connected to connect more and to share the experiences together. So as Dan mentioned, I was working in Dubai in a previous company called Alec. It's a mega company there, and it provides again several construction experiences. And this exposed me to Revizto. So I was first exposed to Revizto in Dubai, and then when I came here to Canada 2 years ago, I started using Revizto as well on our projects. And one of those projects are the LRT, and this is the topic of today. So as an overview of the project itself, so LRT stands for Light Rail Transit, if you don't know what's the acronym there. And this is a little bit on what is the project itself. Just I want to get this out of the way. Okay, it's not. So the project location is in Ottawa. The contract type is target cost contract, and it's 229 million. And we are 100% subcontracted the project, and it's lump sum contracts with our subcontractors that we were awarded the project 2019, and the substantial completion for the East Works 2024, November 26, 2024, and for the West Works, it's May 2025. Peak staff will be 50, and the peak craft will be 400 in our subs. So a little bit of VDC stats on that project, because it's really interesting here. So we have 130 plus design models only without our subs model, because our subcontractors are also involved in this in the model. So every trade submit his own model. So we are anticipating by the end of the project, we will have 300 plus models. So you can imagine we need a platform to host all these models, and it needs to be really powerful platform so that we can handle the models really well there, and we don't have glitches in the viewer and this kind of stuff. So this is a contractually mandated BIM project. We have to deliver an as-built model at the end of the day to the client. And the LOD ranges from 300 to 350 only. And we do a lot of digital construction integration now, and I will come to that in a minute. But also, there is a cool stat here from Revizto dashboard. We have 40 plus people actively working inside Revizto. So it's not only our team working in that project, also it's our subcontractors. And some cases also, it's also the designers inside the model so that they can collaborate with us. But we mainly implement Revizto on that project for the construction phase. So this is the overview. And what you are seeing in front of you now is the digital construction project environment, which Bird started 2 years ago, and it is continuing to evolve. And I'll be showing only now the processes which relates to Revizto. So this is not the entire plan. This is only the processes which focuses or which we use Revizto for. So the very first thing, as I mentioned, we use that for construction. So the very first thing is the operations. So what we use Revizto in the operations for? Constructability reviews. So the constructability reviews, usually it's done normally in any traditional project in PDFs. Every project manager, coordinator, or even the design team from the contractor side reviews the drawing independently on a PDF platform, or maybe on Bluebeam or something like that. But usually it's not seen along with the drawings. So we mandated this to be something we do at the beginning of the project when we receive the IFC drawings, and definitely continually. But when we receive the IFC drawings first time, we as a team access Revizto. Everyone put his notes on the model. We overlay the drawings, which is the super killer feature of Revizto, overlay the drawings on the model so that we can really see this detail. Will it work or not? Everything is modeled or not? Is it really constructible or not? So we as a team insert our comments in Revizto, as you can see here, and then we determine a meeting time, which called constructibility review, and we sit together, discuss online how the model is being, how the issues are being, what issues are constructible and what issues are not constructible, and we take it from there. And this review is not isolated from the project, because now everything is recorded. We have all the history of these issues here, and all the issues which being captured are now recorded inside the system. So if we need to access this information anytime, maybe 3 years from now, so this is a 4 years project, correct? So we will have that later on. It is accessible to anyone at the end of the project. People changes, correct? So the site teams changes, and this information might not be accessible later on. So from there, if we recognized any issue and which needs to be raised as an RFI, we take it to the RFI right away from Revizto. Because we use Procore as our main submittals or RFIs or project management tool. So there is a really simple integration for the RFIs module between Revizto and Procore. So we leverage that to our benefit. So we use any issue which we have discussed from the constructibility review, or basically any issue related to the drawings or the model, we leverage that right away from Revizto without leaving Revizto. So what happens, we select the issue itself, and we then have the option to either to elevate it as a new RFI or to as an existing RFI. So hypothetically, if an RFI is submitted not from Procore by a subcontractor or so, which we mandated to our subcontractors as well, but we still can tie this RFI to the issue inside Revizto. So now your model elements are tied to the Procore RFIs and to the project data. So our site team, when they are viewing the drawings / models, they will see that in this particular area here, in this particular area as an example, there is an RFI and I cannot proceed with the works. And this area is not constructible for the time being. And I will show you also in the live demo how this not works, how it looks like. So, and after elevating the RFI on Revizto, it takes you to Procore and you continue your process normally. So we are not changing the process of the RFI. We are just leveraging the integration between Revizto and Procore. So it's another input method to Procore, but tied to the model. So we don't, as a site team and as the VDC team as well, we don't lose the link between the RFIs, the actual project documentation, and the model. So everything is up to date right away. And also Revizto produces a link, which you can, if you click that link, it will take you to the issue right away inside Revizto, and other way around. So in Revizto as well, there is a link to take you to Procore. So it's two-way link, and it's very intuitive now, and you can continue your process of the RFI and submit the normal way. And the other thing which we also used in Procore, in Revizto, in the operation side of things, show drawings, coordination, and review. So what we do here is the coordination meeting and the shop drawings review as well. So in our coordination meeting with our subcontractors, or even internally, we use Procore, we use the issues tracker so that we can see and manage and administer the issues of the coordination meeting aspect. So everything is in one centralized place. We do this even before the drawing being submitted to us so that we can clarify all the issues beforehand. You don't have to submit the drawing and then the drawings will be not approved. So gather the information, let's coordinate together, and then submit your drawing. As I mentioned, we use Procore as the submissions tool. So we are not changing the process. Still, the submissions happen on Procore, but again, utilizing and leveraging the integration between the documents module inside Procore and Revizto, we now can link the drawings from Procore right away, which is the environment the site team trusts, that this is the latest and greatest drawings. Now the drawings are coming right away from Procore. The drawing changes inside Procore, it changes here as well. And not only the IFC drawings or only the drawings which is created from a Revit model, also it's the normal PDF drawing. It is brought here so that we can see what is happening, so that the site team have access to both the IFC drawings and the shop drawings right away. So everything is under their thumb. If they want to see a particular shop drawing, they can see the shop drawing right away. If they want to see the IFC and compare it to the IFC, they can compare it as well. So it is really important to have trusted drawings. I've seen some people using Revizto. They are just exporting the drawings from Revit. These drawings, the site team don't trust, because when they compare it to the official drawings they have officially submitted, sometimes it doesn't match because of the versions of the model and the drawing. So it is really crucial to have the drawings from the location the site team trusts. In our case, it's Procore here. And why we are reviewing the drawings from Procore, the shop drawings, because simply enough, every shop drawing is created, or layout is created in isolation of the others, especially when it's not done in a model environment. So this is an elevator shop drawing layout, and they didn't have a model, and they just submitted the PDF drawings. And after reviewing the drawings, their drawing, and overlaying that to our model, it seems that they didn't consider that there is an electrical panel inside. They didn't consider that there is an electrical panel there, and they placed their equipment there. So the benefit is huge to overlay the drawings to the model, especially if it's not done in a model environment. But also, even if it's done in a model environment, everyone is seeing what's happening there real time, and we can, as a team, review and comment the drawings. This is another example that we didn't have sufficient space, and overlaying the model, the drawing to the model, also shown us this early on before even submitting the drawing officially to the consultant and getting approved. The other thing is change management. So if you are a Revizto user, you know that there is a compare feature, which is great. So we use that as our change management tool. So we compare, once we receive a new updated SI or even PC, we compare the drawings, the different versions of the drawings together, so that we can see what is happening in real time, what really changed on the drawing. And if it's something which we didn't expect, again, it's tagged as an issue and it can be elevated as an RFI. And not only we are comparing the IFC versions together, but we are also comparing IFC drawings to the shop drawings. So in the shop drawings review sessions, we also compare the shop drawing itself to the IFC drawing, and we see if the subcontractor is complying to the IFC or not. This is a huge value. Usually you do this maybe in Bluebeam, but you need to gather the information first. What we are having here, everything is in one place. This can even be accessed through an iPad or any tablet on the site so that they can see the differences right away. No need to overlay the drawings together because you can overlay it anytime. Reality capture. So on that project, we use also the scanner. We have an RTC 360, like a RTC 360, and we do progressive scanning. So using Revizto, we can overlay this point cloud to the model so that we can see the differences. We can see what went wrong, and also to capture the progress, not only the what went wrong, also the progress. So we have this inside Revizto itself so that the site team can view the progress on the go, on their iPads or the tablets. But again, operations or the site team is not always operations. It's also QA/QC. So we use also Revizto in QA/QC processes, which is in our case inspections here. There is no direct integration with Revizto, but what we do, we create the issue or the inspection on Procore itself, and then we copy the link here inside the chat box here, and when the person go to the site to inspect, he can open this link and it will open the inspection right away. But the important thing here that it's linked to the area which the inspection will do. We are not doing this consistently, but we are doing this selectively. So if there is something which we know that it's not 100% clear where is the inspection going to happen, we are using it. It's not done consistently, but it's being done like so. So this is the inspection from Procore. The other thing which we use heavily is the deficiencies. Deficiencies is a very, debatable thing, and the early you start seeing deficiencies, the more better you control your project. So using Revizto as well, the same stamp system, we be able to control more the deficiencies. So now you have the deficiency stamp with every subcontractor, and everyone will be tagged and notified when they have a deficiency, because you can use the tablet now, go to the site, check the item. If it have a deficiency, take a site photo and then attach it to that deficiency. And all the history of that deficiency will be stored inside the records here. And you can follow up with your subcontractor just in Revizto. Again, similar to the coordination, but we are just digitalizing other use of Revizto on site, which is the deficiencies. So that's it as processes. So now I will dig into the live demo, but before that, do we have any questions, Dan or Laura?
Yeah, we had Lawrence answered one already, asking if is it possible to go back to the RFI within Revizto from inside Procore, and indicating that yeah, you can. Once the issue's connected, you'll see the blue link in Procore. So as you mentioned, Mohammed, you can link both ways, right?
Yeah, you are spot on now. So whatever you are seeing now is actually from Revizto itself, and coincidentally, it's on the RFIs. And you basically don't need to go to Procore to see the RFI, because all the RFI responses and updates will be here. So we started this RFI here. So we have filters for all the RFIs. So these are the closed RFIs, which is initiated inside Revizto. And you can see here that this is the drawing, first of all, and you can see the markup right away. And here is when we have elevated that to Procore RFI, and this is the response. So basically, you don't need to open it in Revizto, in Procore, but if you want, you can do that all the time. So you just click on the RFI, and it will take you there right away.
And one of the strengths I'll also add to that, Mohammed, is the fact that you can take that project and download to the field. So even if you're out there without that persistent internet connection, you will have all of that information available to you when you are out in the field with Revizto on a tablet or on a laptop.
Yeah, and this is great, and it's consistently happening. So all the RFI's responses is basically here listed down, and you can see the responses. You don't need actually to go to the RFI itself on Procore, because everything updates here and it's pretty fast. So as you can see here, we have filters, and every subcontractor have his own filter for the coordination. And if even this is site team, so Mitch is our superintendent of site, so he consistently go inside Revizto, see the issues, and he continually, communicate that to the team, to us, and to everyone. I'm not sure what is happening here, but the drawings, as I showed you here, I know that we have 3 minutes, but I'll make this quick. So we have the design drawings, we have the shop drawings, we have the logistic plan, we have the excavation plans, and pretty much any sketches, and even the shop drawings, which is not created from a model like the one I have showed you for Otis. This was another project, another station. But here you can basically see the drawing, even if it's not created from Revit. It will just take some time to load. I don't know what's happening, but always live demos is like that. But we have all
100%.
Yeah. So we have all the drawings, all the trades of the design drawings, and also the shop drawing. And we have a consistent way of stamping, which elevates and leverage what we can do. And I have a special request, Dan. Can we please change this issue tracker as not issue, because it's not basically issues. So coordination, not always issues, correct? So it's not always an issue. So if we can change the issue.
Revizto's issue tracker is really the communication hub in real time, right? So a lot of times people will use Revizto to chronicle the communication that's going on between the various players. And as Mohammed is pointing out just reliably, is that most of the time it's used to find specific issues, but we definitely want all these communications, especially when you look at the size of your team, where you've got the 50 people from Bird, but then you've got a number of subs and trades. There's a lot of communication going on in the complexity and the length of this particular project. So being able to have all this communication recorded and searchable and filterable is very powerful. But like you said, issue tracking is used for a lot of things, and that's sort of our catch-all phrase for that.
Yeah.
But I won't be changing that for you today, Mohammed.
Okay. Yeah, so I think we are right on time. So if anyone have any question, we can answer.
Perfect. Yeah, we had another question about BIM 360. So similar to Procore, we have an integration with BIM 360 as well as with Box. So these, the idea of these outside integrations is to allow you to connect to other cloud repositories where you have documents that you want to reference and make available to your team. And one of the biggest advantages that you have, like Mohammed has shown with Procore, works the same way with BIM 360, that we can actually have documents that are linked into our issue tracker or our communication panel, if you're Mohammed, and you'll be able to actually go to that link and see the current version of that file, as opposed to if we just were to add a PDF in there. So this gives us that ability to take the live organic evolution of the project and be able to make sure that we are always pointing to the most current set of specs or reference document that we want to put in there. So as Laura has said in the QA, we do work with BIM 360 outside of the process. If you've got if you have 2D sheets in any of these platforms that we're integrated with, we could take the coordinate data and be able to sync those in as well. So we've got some workflows that are designed to work around using the other integrations. It's one of the things that we try to do with our integrated collaboration environment, is make sure that all the authoring tools and the platforms that you would prefer to be in are the platforms that we connect with, and we will continually add to that as we move along. See if there's any other questions here. Can the Revit models in BIM 360 be synced in real time with Revizto? Not at this time. What happens is your BIM 3, the way that Revizto works is we use the plugins that we provide, the authoring tools, and then push from a local version on your machine. So basically, the one you're opening that's being saved in BIM 360 is being pushed out locally. We've got some things in the works that might change that moving forward, but I'm not in a position to speak on that any further, but that's the way that works right now. And let's see, we've got a couple more questions coming in here. Sean, thanking us for that. And well, I think we are at the 3 hour and 30-minute mark. Before we go, Mohammed, first off, I want to thank you for coming in and sharing this with us. We know that you've always been pushing the edges of what you can do with Revizto and all your tools here. And I recognize that the Ottawa LRT is just one of a number of high-profile projects that you've been involved with here. And what has been your general sense when you push this out to the field in terms of what you're getting back for feedback from the other members of your team that haven't used a product in the field to be able to coordinate the models and the sheets? How has that gone for you guys?
Yeah, so it's as any new thing, any new technology, any new workflow. In the beginning, it will be a learning curve, but since it's quite, the interface is very easy, and once we also provide our site team with the proper, education sessions on the training to the tool, they will be on board. And we are, as you mentioned, it's not only Ottawa LRT project we are using it on. We are using it on others, or pretty much all the projects now, at least on the east side. So people are getting on board. So when they see the value, so there are some design teams, they are not interested in joining the process, but when they see us coordinating inside Revizto the way we coordinate here, they jump into the process. So they ask us can we be part of this? So especially on RFIs, we submit the RFIs on Procore, so they receive it and they see link there. So okay, so they can click the link and they can open Revizto right away instead of going through set of drawings and this kind of stuff. So it will be right off the box information, and it really make their life easier. So that's why they are hopping into the process. And specifically on the site team, it's a life changer for them because they have the drawings, IC drawing, they have just shop drawing, and they have the model all in the same place. So everything, it's hard to start, initiate, and then it becomes business as usual.
Now, speaking of business as usual, another question I'll ask, because I know you and I both live here in Nova Scotia, and we've had very very tight COVID restrictions in our province, where flights haven't been going out to the rest of the country, and we've had limited ability to kind of travel freely without quarantine. So you've been running this LRT project that basically started when the COVID restrictions started. You in Halifax, your team in Ottawa and Toronto and all over the place. Have you found that ended up being a pretty seamless process for you as you've used Revizto to manage that across that distance?
Yeah, actually, when COVID hit, we didn't feel much difference because we were working remotely anyway. So this was a leading edge because it's our process. So everyone now coordinate on one platform from whenever he is. So it's was not a big deal, but definitely when COVID hit, we realized now that we made the right choice because now we are coordinating on one cloud platform. We didn't need to meet in person to finish the coordination or to discuss the constructability issues, as I mentioned, or reviews. So it's out of the box now. We are working. We adapted to this before even COVID, but yes, definitely when it was, mandatory to not meet in person, we were equipped with the right tool.
That's outstanding. Well, again, thank you, Mohammed. I don't see that we have any other questions. I really appreciate the great preparation you put into this overview here today. If anyone has any questions, by all means, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. As we're here all the time, and would be glad to address any questions or walk you through any of these workflows. Again, thanks everyone for joining us here today, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks again, Mohammed. Thanks, Laura, for joining us here today. We'll talk to you all soon. Thank you.
See you.